is the fact, is the real thing. I mean, there is language in there that specifically says, basically, we feel it will be better for vendors to sell everything as the complete package. So what they're saying is, for hardware, they're saying is that you should, that they should seek approval for the product, for the hardware, as a battery and atomizer, like everything all in one. That it would be better for them to not sell the atomizer separately, because then they would be required to seek a different approval for just the atomizer.
Right. This is going to be a nightmare.
In there that it says that, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a nightmare.
And I mean, here's my question.
Yes.
Somebody asked me about the zero nick thing a while ago, and I said, well, look, from their point of view, from the FDA and from enforcement's point of view, of course they're going to regulate zero the same as anything else. A, because they get the licensing fee for your, zero nick product. But how are they going to enforce that if they come in and sting you and you say your e-liquid is zero, right?
Right.
So you don't have to seek approval but all of your product looks identical, other than the fact that it has a number on the front saying what nicotine level it is, right? So they're not going to have two regulatory pathways for products that look identical, because there's no way enforcement is going to be possible,
Yeah, enforcement's going to, first, like you said, enforcement's going to be very difficult for them.
Right.
And then now you have police or whatever going after people with mods and stuff. It does sound ridiculous, but it's almost right there. The other thing too is, Robin, you've been on social media all yesterday and today.
Yep.
Now, listen, I've heard things like, I can't believe this has happened. How can laws even be created based on this make-believe stuff? To me, it's like, how do you answer someone like that? Saying, I can't believe this happened.
It's, you know what? I end up saying to people, I'm not sure why you can't believe it happened when we've been telling you it was going to happen for a couple of years now, because we have been. They weren't listening. They weren't paying attention. Everybody was waiting for somebody else to do it. They were too busy. You know what? My opinion. They were too busy standing at shows with their arms up trying to catch the free shit that was being thrown at them. Sorry. Right. But, seriously, they just weren't paying attention. And how many times did we try to tell them that it's easier to prevent a fire than it is to put one out? Well, nobody prevented the fire. There wasn't enough of them trying. And here it is. Now we have the fire,
Yeah, and the fire
But
is pretty
they don't
bad.
want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. And it's a fact. Just is.
Now, Knocked, at the soon of the drop of this came yesterday, if you were on Facebook, you started seeing vape shops saying, I'm out of here. Yeah. I'm having a fire sale. I'm putting.
Get me started on that one.
We're gonna just get out because we're all doomed. This is what I saw on a Facebook page, and now, wow.
Do you remember our show a while back where we did vaping in a black market? You remember that one?
Yes.
And I had a specific response to that statement. You may not remember, so I'll replay it. So my response to people that are in this industry, that their whole goal is to try to make money and they're not fighting for their industry, and that goes for these people that are trying to profit off of this as quickly as possible so they can, make their money and get the hell out of Dodge. Fuck you. Go the hell. And I hope to God that the vendors or the consumers that saw that post don't send you a fucking dollar. I hope you go poor.
Yeah, because they weren't in it for the long haul at all. They were just in it for the money. And yes, the thing is that there's a lot of shops that are in it for the long haul and they are in it for the money too, but they're in there to protect the investment of opening a shop and getting a juice line or getting a manufacturing of the different mods and whatever, those people that are going to take it to the nth degree, I see a lot of people on Facebook, as everybody else that's listening has seen, is they're on fire now. All of a sudden, this has lit a fire on some people. And they're like, we're going to fight this. The war's not over. Now, listen, FDA has come out with these regulations. You got to remember, and this is something that I want to make clear, the vaping militia didn't respond because we are going to wait and see when this all gets read and everything. We have to make calculated decisions and be strategic. When you fight a war or a battle, you don't just go running in blazing guns. You're going to die. But you have to be strategic. You have strategic battles here that you need to win, here to win, before you can try and win a war. And that's what we're doing right now. When we have the lawyers, we have Safada and CASA getting in there, their hands dirty, reading. There are other vape shops that have lawyers that are having their lawyers go through it. So then once it's all done, we all come together and we make a strategic plan to go against the FDA. We can't just throw our hands up. And some people are going to, and those people are going to be gone. That's the way it is. But we want to make sure that whatever strategy we employ will be the strategy that will help us win a war. What do you think, Noct? Am I off on that?
No, I mean, you're exactly right. This is so complex and so difficult that for everybody to try to respond quickly, it's going to be, we're going to make wrong decisions. We're acting out of emotion right now. And what we need to do is we need to act strategically. Like you said, we need to make sure that our bullets hit the target that are needed to win this. And I still say that we have options, that we're communicating and we're doing what is necessary. We're networking and making sure that everybody's working together. And I assure you that all the groups are working together right now, that something's going to come out. And when it comes out, we need to act. But until then, I saw a post today that really pissed me, or I saw it yesterday, that really pissed me off. And I even screenshot it and posted it in our board chat so that you guys could see it. And it really pissed me off because essentially it was a vapor that was, I know he was upset. I know that he's worried about what's going to happen. But what we need to do is act together. This person basically posted in the We Are CASA Facebook group, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it said essentially, I've been doing everything that you've told me to do, and I thought that you guys knew what you were saying, or knew what you were doing, and you guys were wrong, and nothing changed, and this is exactly the same as what was offered to us 2 years ago. I am no longer supporting CASA because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, that's essentially what it said. And I was like, really? These are the people that have been fighting for your ass for 7 or 8, 10 years. They've been working their asses off. Now, you do realize that no matter what we did, the FDA had these deeming regs written. I can't tell because I don't know what the original draft that they gave to OMB was. But if OMB edited it in any way, shape, or form, we can't tell. What we do know is that they are working in the interests of their pharmaceutical paymasters. And, whether or not Big Tobacco had anything to do with the final wording of this, the people that are going to benefit the most are the pharma companies and the tobacco companies. Because those of us that can't quit smoking are going to go back to smoking. Those of us that are really going to try really hard yet again, you're going to go back and try those same methods that you tried before that didn't work, thinking maybe now they'll work. and the pharma companies are going to make money too.
Oh, of course.
The most important thing is that CASA has been fighting for your ass, and there's no reason for you to say what you said. And if you're throwing in the towel, you're throwing in the towel. That reflects upon you. That does not reflect upon CASA.
You know, it comes down to this. The FDA doesn't care about your health at all.
Well, no, they care about their wallets.
They care about protecting the $1 trillion healthcare industry that profits off your sickness. That's what they care about.
That's what they care about. Yep.
And Robin, you think about this. As you go through this whole life and you see all these commercials about, these different drugs that are coming out on the market that are being approved by the FDA, and finally coming out and finding out that we talked about this last week, ex-FDA commissioner being sued by the RICO law, through the RICO law, because they knew these drugs were harmful. They were killing people, but they put them out anyways. They approved them anyways. So how do we even trust the FDA with what's going on now? We can't.
I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them even a little bit. Long before I started, with you guys with being in the militia, I was a nurse. I've been a nurse for a long time now. And I've seen a lot of drugs that came out and they said it was going to be a wonderful drug, and then horrible things started to happen to people. Lots of drugs, the statins, some of those, and everybody was taking them. The doctors were prescribing them like crazy because in America we have a lot of people with high cholesterol, and then people started to have consequences, liver damage and muscle damage and stuff like that. But it turned out the FDA knew that, one of them in particular was probably going to be a problem, and they put it out there anyhow. Why? Because they make a lot of money out of it. That's how the drug companies work. And unfortunately, if we start smoking again, and I got to tell you, I'm not ready to give up nicotine. If it becomes unavailable, I'll be at 7-Eleven buying a pack of Marlboro Reds. I will be, and that's the tragic thing. But, and if that happens, not only will people be trying patches again like we did before that didn't work for us, and I don't mean to be like gloom and doom, but it's just fact. Some of us will be getting more inhalers than we had, and chemotherapy and all kinds of other drugs because of the effects of smoking. I mean, it's just the way it is, and they're fine with it because that's how they make their money. It's pathetic. It really is.
It is pathetic.
Frustrates me. Yep.
It is pathetic. And you know what? Just to make this clear, and somebody said this, the vaping industry has never and will never target children as our customers. So that was a big lie right off the bat. The intent of the industry is to make available a classification of products that provide adults with the nicotine they crave while reducing the harm through elimination of over 4,000 chemicals, which are in a cigarette, 600 which are known to cause cancer. And you have the Royal College of Physicians from the UK coming out and saying, vaping is where it's at. It's harm reduction. It's where smokers can go and get harm reduction. And there's everybody's probably seen it on Facebook. There is a meme out there talking about the Royal College of Physicians that, like, back in, I think 18 or 1900, I can't remember the exact.
It was like 1950 something.
1957 or something like that. They warned that cigarettes were, bad and all this stuff. And, of course, the Americans didn't listen. Now the Royal College of Physicians are saying vaping is good to help reduce, harm reduction for smokers. And they're not listening again. So I think FDA is missing the big picture. Are they missing the big picture on this?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're looking at the short game. They're looking at how much money that they can receive a year. I don't think FDA is worried so much about money, not directly from vaping or from cigarette sales, because the FDA doesn't get any tobacco money. However, this sort of expensive, drawn out regulatory scheme that they're rolling out, they're looking at bringing in a lot of revenue for these applications. And if you have drug companies, and drug companies do create drugs all the time.
Yes.
And